Hello and welcome to Prudent IS, one-stop solution for all the competitive exams. We are back again with another interesting video. The approach for the video will be the same like all our previous videos. We'll choose one topic, do some discussion over the topic, and then we'll present a model question as well as a model answer, where we'll be focusing on the structure of the answer. Most of you must be aware which question we are going to tackle today, but all those who have not yet joined our group Answer Writing by Prudent IS on Telegram, do join it today. There we send all the questions in a day advance, so you can send us your answers, you can do some self-evaluation, you can do peer-to-peer interaction, as well as you can access others' answers also. Also, we will be taking up one question daily from that group for free evaluation. So without wasting time, let's come to the topic for the day. Today we have chosen the topic India's economic model, a mixed economy landscape. So we'll be discussing about the model, the economic model which India is following, which is a mixed economy model, that is neither too socialist nor too capitalist. India stands as a prime example of a mixed economy. The nation blends socialist principles with market dynamics. So you all must be aware that the countries, if this is India, then the countries known as the West, they follow the market economy, that is capitalist market driven economy. The market economy is based on profit motive, it works on the basis of supply demand dynamics, whereas countries like USSR work on socialist model. So in the socialist model, mostly all the industries are under the government hold. The government decides all the factors of the economy. So we will see how India is a blend of both these models. This unique approach balances the government intervention with the private enterprise. It creates a distinct economic identity on the global stage. Let's look into the historical context of the economic structure. The post-independence era, which was 1947 to 1991. What happened was India adopted socialist planning under Nehru. If you remember, the famous 5-year plans, they guided the economic development. The emphasis was on all the public sector enterprises. This period was also characterized by license Raj. Why license Raj? Because if you want to do any business, then you need permit from the government for most of the activities, which limited the private sector growth, and foreign investment was also restricted. Mostly all the enterprises which dominated the key industries like steel, telecommunication and banking, they were state-owned enterprises there. Then came 1991, the era of LPG reforms, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. We opened the doors for the whole world. The market was opened. So economic liberalization, this era is known as the economic liberalization post 1991. A severe balance of payment crisis triggered the landmark reforms. India opened its economy to global markets by doing what? By reducing the tariffs, ending the industrial, this was license Raj, this was ended. FDI, foreign direct investment, was allowed. Rupee was also devalued to promote the exports. And the government began privatizing the state-owned enterprises. Earlier, steel, telecom, banking, what all were under state enterprises. Now, the private intervention was possible. Privatizations began. These reforms marked a fundamental shift from a closed, self-reliant economy to an integrated global participant, which means that earlier we were following the socialist economy, which was closed economy, self-reliant, self-dependent. But now we were moving towards a market-driven capitalist economy, in which the doors were open for the whole world. So the reforms were brought in 1991. in the era 1991 to 2000, we will call it the market transition era, because we are changing from a one structure to other structure. This is not going to happen overnight. It will take some time. So this decade is known as the market transition era. Here what happened? Gradual shift from central planning to market orientation gave the private sector significant freedom. So the central planning, which was earlier done by the government, now it is giving freedom to the private sector. The industrial production surged as business were free from the red tapeism, which is from licensing and all those detailings requiring access for the business. Foreign investment also was welcomed in the newly opened sectors. Indian companies began expanding globally. Despite the political resistance for some reforms, this period laid the foundation for India's emergence as the global economic player. So this is clear. Post independence till 1991, we were leaning towards government controlled socialist structure. Reforms came. Then post the reforms, the market transition era, where investment was also flowing in, private enterprises were growing. India was leading to become a global economic player. Then comes the period of economic boom, which is 2000 to 2008. India experienced unprecedented growth rates that were averaging 8 to 9% annually. This was the growth rate of India. The IT service sector became the major economic drivers, establishing India as a global outsourcing hub, which this led to middle class consumption fueled the domestic markets, while significant infrastructure development proved economic capacity. India's integration into global value chains accelerated during this global golden period of growth. So this period is known as the golden period of growth because India was in all the global value chains. The IT sector was growing, we were outsourcing, the demand was rising, and all in all, this was a period of economic boom. Then comes the 2008 to present. Now this was leaning towards the capitalist mode, but post 2008, the financial crisis, the infamous crisis, post 2008, we chose for a mixed model. We again went back to some socialist features, and then now what we have in the present is a modern mixed economy. India has maintained its mixed economic model while adapting to global challenges. Now there are various digital initiatives, Aadhaar, UPI, JAM Trinity. These show the modernized economic structure, infrastructure, that we have really modern infrastructure, and digitally anyways we are leading. Reforms such as GST implementation, insolvency, IBC, insolvency and bankruptcy code, they strengthen the formal economic frameworks. Despite the periodic slowdowns, India has become the world's 5th largest economy while balancing the private sector involvement with the increasing market liberalization. So public sector involvement is also there, market liberalization is also there. So what we have today, some sectors are with government and rest with private. So the Indian economy is anyways flourishing using this unique and innovative modern mixed economy. Now let's look at the features of both these economies individually. So the key features of market economy. First of all, the question is about ownership. The ownership in the market economy is mostly private. That means individuals and business own factors of production rather than the state. The factors of production, if you are students of PSIR, you must be aware. So the factors of production is owned by individual and business rather than by the state. The price mechanism is not decided by the government. It is not market controlled, not planned, but it is according to the supply and demand mechanism which determine the prices without the government intervention in the market economy. Motive, of course, for all the businesses out there, the motive is profit motive. Financial gain drives economic decisions and business activities. This is the basic motive in the market economy. Competition, of course, because there is private intervention. For one enterprise, for one industry, there can be multiple sellers. So this opens up the doors for the competition. Multiple sellers for consumer attention, improving the quality and efficiency. Now, if there is competition in the market, earlier what used to happen, government was owning everything. So there was just one particular company from where you have to buy the goods and services. There was no choice available. Now consumers have choice. If not this, then this. And for this, all the businesses are actively working on their quality so that most of the products are sold from the people chose their company. So there is ample competition in the market economy. Limited government, minimal state intervention beyond maintaining the markets and property rights. Just the law regulation part is under the government, rest all is with the private enterprises. Next up, we have the features of socialist economy. Again, the basic question here, the ownership lies with the state. Government controls the key industry resources and the means of production. There is very less or no room for the private sector. Central planning, that is the pricing mechanism. Economic decisions are made by the government agencies rather than the supply, demand and the market forces. That's all predetermined and planned. Prices often set by planners instead of supply demand dynamics, already mentioned. Collective welfare, there in the market economy, that was a drawback, limitation, and offers. Often the argument against market economy is that market economy is profit based, profit motive. Here in the socialist economy, the motive is collective welfare, which is a pro for socialist economy. It focuses on social grounds and equitable distribution of goods and services over profit maximization. Again, restricted private enterprise, that means very limited role for the private business with controlled parameters. So this was all about the socialist economy. Now, if we blend the features of both these economies, then we come to the India's mixed economy. Let's see the key characteristics. So here, the ownership in the strategic areas lies with the government, with the state, but in all other industries, the ownership can be by private. So, state ownership in strategic sectors, that is, the government maintains control over defense, railway, essential utilities to ensure public welfare. Whereas the private enterprise too have a lot of freedom. That means, post the 1991 LPG reforms, private business are allowed to operate with minimal licensing restrictions. We are like, startups are emerging these days because of these reforms. Social welfare programs, the government carries out the social welfare programs because all the private enterprises will be working for profit motive. So for the society, all the collective welfare, social welfare programs like PDS systems, education subsidies, for health care initiatives, these address the inequality. Central planning influence, that is, the 5-year plans guide the development while allowing the market forces. So the 5-year plans have stopped now, they used to guide, but the market forces are also determining the prices. So there is a mix. Central planning is also happening, government is also intervening, but majority what is happening is the market driven forces, that is, the supply demand mechanism is determining the pricing mechanism. Tax structure, that is progressive. Redistributive fiscal policies aim to balance the growth with social equity. Now what happens is, if there is no taxation, there is no social welfare, then a country like India where inequality is prevailing, there will be huge disparities. Rich will become richer, poor will be poorer. So there's a progressive tax structure. The more rich you are, the more tax you will be paying. This is for addressing the social inequality, bringing some social equity. So in India's mixed economy, there are certain features of socialist economy and certain features of the market-based economy. I hope it's clear to you all. Now let's come to the main segment of our lecture, that is the model question for the day. Explore the blend of market and socialist features in India's economy. It is a 10-mark, 150-word question. Here, the directive word is explore. If you have not watched our directive word video, do watch it, because there I have pointed out all the directive words and described in detail what each word means, what you are expected to write. Here, for explore, what you are going to do is, you'll check out all the dimensions, what all is the demand, and then under each you will be writing certain points. You will be exploring the topic in depth, but again you will be keeping in mind the word limit. So what I expect you to do now is just pause this video, write a sample answer yourself. What you can do is, when I'll be discussing the answer in the next slide, you can do some self-evaluation, or you can send us your answer in the Telegram group Answer Writing by Prudent IAS. Let's jump to the answer. As I always say, the approach which we are going to follow is intro, body, conclusion approach. So let's come to the introduction first. Introduction, this is the structural heading. You are not supposed to write these headings in the answer. You will start from here. If the answer, this is the beginning of the answer. So since this is a 10-mark answer, how you can start is, a mixed economy aims for stability, wealth distribution, and effective resource usage by combining market-driven dynamics with governmental supervision or regulation. So you have given the insights about the topic in brief. The demand you have addressed, that is, what is a mixed economy? Mixed economy is comprising of both. It combines the market-driven dynamics as well as the governmental supervision. You have kept it concise and in the word limit. Next up, this is the body of the answer. So how are you going to start the body of the answer? First, you will be telling, see, the question is asking to explore the blend. So first, of course, you will be telling about all those elements of the market economy, then the socialist economy which are present in the Indian economy. But what is important here is add as many examples as possible, because examples are going to fetch you more marks. So let's begin. See, if it is a 10-mark answer, then under each heading you can write 2 to 3 points. If it is a 15-mark answer, then you are required to write at least 4 to 5 points. Here I have given 3 points. You can choose to write any 2, or if you can concise this, then you can write all the 3 as well. First, you will be giving a heading. The heading needs to be self-explanatory, which means that often students write, like, for example, they'll be writing features and that's it, dash, hyphen, and they'll start the answer. So features of what? Features of about what? So you will be writing key features of the market economy in India. This is self-explanatory heading. You need to highlight the heading, as I always tell you. Either you can use uppercase, that is capital letters, block letters, because you can't change pen. You are supposed to write with a single pen. So better use capital letters for heading to highlight it, or you can draw a box over it. You can just underline it. Make sure the heading is clearly visible so the examiner knows that, okay, you have got the grasp over the demand of the question. Coming under this, we'll be using subheadings, and we'll be using the alphanumeric digit. Alphanumeric digit is 1, 2, 3 or ABC. Avoid using bullets. Mostly students use these bullets, that is dots. Better use the numbers, right? So what are the features which are incorporated in Indian economies? FDI. For example, companies like Amazon and Walmart have invested billions in Indian retail markets. So again, this is the key feature of market economy, that is FDI. And the example is Amazon and Walmart. They have invested billions. And the competitive market forces, as already discussed, the telecom sector competition led by Jio dramatically reduced the data cost nationwide. This is aware, you all are aware. Next up is the private ownership. Private organizations own and run a sizable percentage of Indian companies, sectors and services. For example, now quoting as much as data is important, but what you need to keep in mind, if you are writing some data, for example, the private sector gross fixed capital formation was 24.71%. Now you need to write the source, that is the economic survey of 2022 to 2023. Source is very important whenever you are writing relevant facts and data. So you have kept it concise. The structure is right. You can use flowcharts. You can use any structure. What you need to keep in mind is, first, language proficiency. That is, see, if you are choosing English medium, then you must have at least hold on simple basic English language. You are not supposed to use bad grammar. Avoid grammatical mistakes. What happens is, if you are not having good hold on language, then the meaning conveyed is changed, completely changed, and sometimes it's very difficult to even grasp what you are trying to say. So work on language proficiency. Use basic simple words, but a formal precise structure, precise language. Second, Who says handwriting has no play? Handwriting has a major role, because at first when we'll be looking at the copy, what happens is we'll see the presentation. If the copy is neat, the handwriting is legible, then of course it makes a difference. So next is handwriting. Language proficiency, handwriting, structure, whichever structure you are using, make it neat and proper spacing. This is also very important. What happens is, because of the time constraints, whenever you are writing on the answer sheet, you just keep on writing, and if, for example, this is your answer sheet, this is the margin, you are writing, right? Then this is the second point, now you have recalled some other point, now you are writing it over here. This congested writing will definitely make you lose some marks because it affects the presentation. So avoid congestion, avoid short forms, avoid congested writing wherever possible. Next up, we have told the features about, discuss the features of the market economy. Now similarly, key features of the socialist economy in India. Again, we have used the heading. Similar structure, subheadings, alphanumeric digits, use of examples. For example, public sector, the government-run companies like SBI, BHEL, NTPC, BPCL, etc. are important sectors in the banking, transportation, energy, etc. Welfare schemes, government programs concentrate on reducing poverty, improving healthcare and educating the public. For example, MG Narega, PMJ, NEP, etc. Subsidies also, PDS. Subsidies are offered on food grains, LPG to help make necessities more accessible. Now the PDS system supplies the subsidized grains to 800 million people. So you're quoting some data, you're adding some examples, you are keeping the features also. This is what is required while writing a complete answer. Next up, you have told about the features of both. So now what? Now you will be concluding it on a summarizing and positive balance note that these both features are present. That's why India is a mixed economy. India is a blend of both these features. How you are going to write it? Therefore, India's mixed economy promotes the growth while resolving the inequalities by fusing welfare and regulatory focus with market efficiency. Okay, so the conclusion is within, I guess, this is not even 15 to 20 words. So equally divide the word limit. If the word limit is 150 words, right, then keep the major chunk, that is for intro, let's say you are keeping 25 words. For body, you are keeping 100 words. For conclusion, another 25, and this sums up your 150 words. So you must be worrying that why I'm focusing so much on the word limit, because see, most of the students have hold on content. They know about each and every topic in detail, but what is important here is that how you are supposed to write all those points without skipping the key points in the given word limit. This is the art which you need to master, and this will come by constant answer writing. So keep watching our videos, keep writing, send us your answers. We'll be pointing out your mistakes in the group as well. I hope this topic is clear to you all. That's it for today. Subscribe our YouTube channel, Prudent IAS, as well as join our Telegram group, Answer Writing by Prudent IAS. We'll be back with another video soon. Thanks for watching.